that is being followed in cases like these?
You know, like we have been saying, that these are concerns which have been expressed at the highest level of the judiciary. You know, whether Karti Chidambaram in custody or Mehbooba Mufti being probed by the Enforcement Directorate, they all went to the Supreme Court asking that, you know, this is not right, that the law of the land was not being followed, and we know what the Supreme Court finally opined on those petitions. So even now, the defence team, it's trying its best. That's their job. They're trying to impress upon the court about the timing. They're trying to impress upon the court that there has to be some kind of prima facie evidence under Section 19. But if precedence is anything to go by, it is unlikely that the defence will be able to convince the court. At least that's what we have seen previously when ED has gone seeking custody in similar cases in other parts of the country, be it in Mumbai or be it in Delhi in other cases as well. But you know, the defence is still arguing. If their argument is rejected at the lower court level, they might go to a higher court with the same argument, and we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But the ED definitely is gearing up to confront Mr. Sisodia, and bail is, if that is what he was hoping for, looks difficult. Under the PC Act, CBI's custody was challenged, bail was applied for. That hearing was to happen today. Under the Enforcement Directorate probe, Satyendra Jain has been languishing for close to a year now, 10 months and more, yet no bail. So if that is anything to go by, things look very tricky for Mr. Sisodia and for the Aam Aadmi Party.
Well, that's true, and I believe Anshul is also now back with us. And Anshul, why this becomes extremely problematic for Manish Sisodia at this point is because of the ED's interest as far as this larger nexus of the money trail is concerned. And we should also remember that Manish Sisodia is not the only person who's being questioned, and this is what the ED is saying time and again, that there are discrepancies in not just what Manish Sisodia is telling us on day 1 and day 2, but there are also differences as far as the sequence of events in terms of what Manish Sisodia is saying and what other independent people are saying, and that could prove extremely problematic as far as any hopes of a bail for Mr. Sisodia is concerned.
Well, definitely, if you see the kind of arguments that happened in front of the CBI court when CBI was asking for the custody of Manish Sisodia, the lawyers came out with the same sort of arguments that Manish Sisodia is always present whenever the CBI has called him for investigation, or whenever the CBI has asked for any sort of proof, the Manish Sisodia is always available to him. But the CBI also at that point said that yes, Manish Sisodia is not giving them satisfactory answers. But to this, the counsel of Manish Sisodia actually replied that yes, whatever I know, I have already told you. There cannot be, you cannot force what you want to hear on me. But that is the same argument that we are hearing today as well, because the name of Manish Sisodia is coming up one after the other, because the number of people that have been arrested all point their fingers towards one person, that is Manish Sisodia. Because if you see all the statements that have been recorded by the Enforcement Directorate, in some way or the other, the name of Manish Sisodia has come up, and how he knew about all this was happening right below his nose, where his aides like Vijay Nair was actually in connivance with this so-called South Lobby, and where the entire structure of this policy was discussed by them. In fact, their inputs were taken on the formation of the policy itself. So yes, Manish Sisodia needs to answer that in front of the Enforcement Directorate. But as we have been reporting from the court itself, that the arguments are ongoing. But yes, if I could just show you some pictures from outside the Enforcement Directorate office, the security arrangements have already been beefed up outside the Enforcement Directorate office. Somewhere or the other, it seems like the Enforcement Directorate is very, very confident that they are going to get custody of Manish Sisodia. And once the custody is given, then Manish Sisodia will be brought here to the ED office, where he will be kept for the next few days. So yes, it remains to be seen what transpires inside the courtroom, and how does the judge, the CBI judge, actually look at these arguments that have been put forth by the lawyers of Manish Sisodia. But yes, we heard the arguments of the Enforcement Directorate, and the arguments of the Enforcement Directorate actually sound very, very strong, and it is going to be a very uphill task for the lawyers of Manish Sisodia to actually punch holes in that argument. And that is the reason why we are seeing this confidence in the Enforcement Directorate as well, where the security has been beefed up out here just to make sure that no untoward situation arises. So yes, just in the next few minutes we are going to get to know as to what does the judge think, and for how many days, if at all the judge decides to give the custody, for how many days will the Enforcement Directorate be able to get the custody of Manish Sisodia, because as of now they have appealed for 10 days of ED custody. But yes, it is up to the prerogative of the court to decide as to for how many days will they finally give the custody of Manish Sisodia to the Enforcement Directorate. But yes, the situation on the ground ground at this point, seems like that Manish Sisodia is in all likelihood coming out here, because yes, the ED is actually very, very confident that they are going to get the custody of Manish Sisodia today.
While the arguments are still on, you have the legal counsel of Manish Sisodia that is still arguing in favor of Delhi's former Deputy Chief Minister. Arunama, coming to you now, while of course the larger argument that is being made by the legal counsel of Manish Sisodia is that there is a different yardstick that is being used when they want to investigate people like Manish Sisodia vis-a-vis the others. While we're still awaiting, what the final outcome will be, as far as the political names that have come in this alleged scam, K. Kavita, the BRS MLC, she of course has also called this a witch hunt, political vendetta. She's also said the timing is questionable because she was supposed to sit on a dharna at Jantar Mantar. That is why all these summons have been given. But when the ED says that there is a larger South cartel at play and there are kickbacks of thousands of crores, there are multiple phone calls that have been made, multiple digital documents have been destroyed, phones have been changed. How is the ED linking all these players?
So what the ED alleges is that when the Delhi excise policy was being formulated, Vijay Nair, who is an event management company operator, also did handle at one point the social media accounts of the Aam Aadmi Party. He was brought in to negotiate with what is being called the South Group. Now the South Group essentially had businessmen who were allegedly fronts of politicians down south. So one politician whose name has come up is K. Kavita. There is another leader from YSRCP whose name has also come up. His son has been arrested in this matter. The charge was that this entire conspiracy by former CAs, businessmen associated with these leaders, they all got in touch with Vijay Nair and they negotiated as to how their business empire could flourish from the Delhi excise policy. All that Aam Aadmi Party wanted in return, this is the charge being made by Enforcement Directorate and CBI, is that they wanted in return money to fund their election campaign in Goa, possibly in Punjab also. So far, there's no evidence to suggest Punjab, but that's what the BJP has been alleging as well. So when this entire chain of criminal conspiracy begins, as is being alleged by CBI and ED, these businessmen decide to pay an upfront bribe of 20 to 30 crores. The total bribe amount being agreed upon is 100 crores. In return, the profit margin in the excise policy goes up from 5% to 12%. And out of this 12%, 6% was to be rerouted to the Aam Aadmi Party election account as more kickback, other than the 100 crore upfront kickback. In return, these South politicians and businessmen who were their front would get a free run. Cartelization is what is being alleged, so it's not as if they're getting liquor license for only one particular zone. Through various arms and sub-arms, they are getting to control the entire market. That's where cartelization is being alleged. So it's a loss that is being caused to the exchequer. But like we have been pointing out, CBI and ED both say that the investigation is ongoing. These are numbers and figures that are being thrown at us, but they have to come up with more evidence, corroborative evidence, to complete that chain of criminal conspiracy, to prove it in a court of law that indeed this is what happened.
Okay. And Anshul, coming back to you, as far as the political narrative of the Aam Aadmi Party is concerned, they're not letting go. Today, we've also seen a letter that was written by Manish Sisodia, a cryptic tweet that was put out by Arvind Kejriwal as well. And they continue to harp on the fact that this is just to try to silence voices of the Aam Aadmi Party. One, because of the rise that the Aam Aadmi Party is seeing and the resonance that it's having on the ground. And also, more importantly, because of the education model that is being lauded of the Aam Aadmi Party, not just in the country, but worldwide as well. Anshul, can you hear me?
Yes, so yes, these allegations have been going to and fro between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP. We have been hearing how the BJP has now shifted its goalpost from targeting Manish Sisodia to targeting Arvind Kejriwal. Today, we saw that massive protest that was carried out by the BJP today outside the Aam Aadmi Party headquarters. So yes, remember the name of Arvind Kejriwal is also mentioned in that charge sheet that has been filed in the by the Enforcement Directorate. In fact, it has been referred to in that charge sheet by the Enforcement Directorate. So yes, the BJP is now saying that the target should now be on Arvind Kejriwal as he is the kingpin. We also heard today the conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar coming to the fore and saying that yes, the next in line to be arrested is going to be Arvind Kejriwal. But if you see from the legal standpoint, from this entire charge sheet that has been filed, the name of Arvind Kejriwal has been referred in that, and it states that Arvind Kejriwal also knew about the kickbacks that the Aam Aadmi Party was going to receive. So yes, it remains to be seen as to if at all in that direction ED is going to take its case forward, because the signing authority in this entire matter was not Arvind Kejriwal. He was not the excise minister, or he was not part of the group of ministers that was formed, or also